listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
And I am Omer Kaplan. How are you?
I am very good. How are you doing?
A little bit fine. It's been an interesting week at work. You know, lots of startup things happening. But yeah, all in all, fun times.
You know, last time we recorded, it was Juneteenth in the US, yes. And now we are before 4th of July weekend.
Yep.
So holidays back to back. Although,
yes.
Without getting into politics, I heard not a lot of people are very happy with 4th of July right now.
Oh, really? I don't know. So we live in this the most suburban suburb ever. So over here we have so we live in a relatively small town, 40,000 people. So there's a main street, and on Main Street we're gonna have our parade with the fire department and the police officers and all the high school stuff. And then Main Street becomes a big festival with all the festival food. So I don't know. It's I think everybody's kind of just waiting for the parade pretty much. I don't think people are very involved here. Okay, but tell me why people aren't happy with 4th of July. I totally missed out on that. I'm living out of the loop.
Because of the destruction of democracy your country is having.
Yes, that too. I can relate somewhat.
without actually getting into the politics of it.
Yeah.
I'm in TikTok a lot, and I get those voices.
Yes. So that's a thing that happens too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to games before we get ourselves too depressed. This is The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. We each episode talk about a game that we like or dislike or have something to say about. And in this case, Omer is raving about.
Oh my god!
And then we're going to talk a bit about news. And I'm starting a section giving updates about my games. Whenever there will be updates, I don't know if each episode will have those, but yeah, I'm. It's my podcast. I'm giving myself time to.
It's my podcast, and I'll cry if I want.
Exactly. You can find all of our episodes on theburn.live. That's the website. You will find there subscription links to your favorite listening apps, and then you can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/icel.me. I don't stream a lot these days, but sometimes I do. And that's it. Let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge.
Yes. Oh my god. So okay, I came to this game very biased. I think even in this podcast, maybe in one of the first episodes, we had our expectations for 2022, and then I think it's one of the first one, and I said this is a game I am so ready for. I wishlisted it on the first day. I didn't know much about it, but I played the Super NES version of Teenage. First of all, it was as a young kiddo, that was one of my favorite franchise. I had all the toys, all the turtles, all the Shredder, the hot air balloon, whatever that name is, I guess it's a Zeppelin. So huge fan of the entire franchise.
Airship. The generic name is an airship. The non-German name.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I just blanked out on the name. Let's call it an airship. That's a better thing.
I was super into Ninja Turtles as a kid. However, I didn't have any gaming consoles, so I didn't know any of those games existed. And so for the context of this, I'm going into this new game as a blank slate. I knew nothing about it. I knew that it's going to come out and people were very excited, but I have absolutely no context. As a kid, I was into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles through the VHS tapes, and then my aunt was living in the US at the time, and every time she came to visit, she would bring me Ninja Turtle stuff. I had action figures, and I still have a beach towel from
Oh, wow.
like 1990 something that my aunt got me from the US, and I had like Reeboks with Ninja Turtles
Okay.
on them, and I was obsessed with those things.
So yeah, so basically the only component that you didn't get is like the gaming stuff, but I played the crap out of the Super NES version. Like I played it alone, I played with my friends, I played it like over and over. So it was a really long game, it's very hard, but super worth it. And the company, so I'm really glad that you put the link in the show notes to like tribute the company that made it. First of all, they're the company I totally discovered that today behind Mercenary Kings, which is also a great game. If you didn't play it, totally worth it. Um, and this is like exactly what they did. They took the basics of the foundations of the Super NES version, and then modernized it into like a lot of like modern mechanics, a lot of we're gonna talk about all that stuff in a second, but they kept all the cool stuff from the main game and the arcade game and brought it into that the new like remake, remasters, reimagination of this game. So there was like everything there feels like very like immediately like as soon as I fire up the game, everything there feels very familiar to a point where like like you get like a nostalgia dopamine hit. It's like, oh my god, I've seen this thing before, like in low res, but now it's like high res with all the different modern stuff. But even if you take all of that like nostalgia and like put it aside, we don't have really good straight up beat 'em up games today. So we have the Street of Rage is pretty good, but I mean it's kind of like another version of that. Um, there's like Mother Russia Bleeds, which is like kind of similar but like more
Yeah,
violent.
there are some
I
indie
mean,
games
it's not a genre,
from
it's not
that
a genre though.
genre, but it's not a very popular thing.
Yes. So I mean, so yeah, that genre isn't like very saturated. So every like good title there is really like a gem, and this is really good of a game. So
Oh, and you obviously you have Scott Pilgrim the game, which is one of the best one of the genre.
yes, exactly. And yeah, and you have that IP, which is great. So basically, it plays like any other beat 'em up game. So you go into a level, it's a side scroller, you can't go back, only go forward. You jump, there's like tons of like enemies. Every stage ends with a boss, and there's like a high level story, which is nice. I mean, in the context of the Ninja Turtles, it's always like the same story. So you got Krang. Krang wants his body, gets his body. You fight off the aliens. You go to Dimension X. You do things. So like, it's almost like watching like couple of episodes of the show, just like brought into the game, which was kind of like the whole story of the Super NES original one, which is like something very nice. And every stage in the game, every level is called an episode. So you start in episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 until all the way up till I think it's like 15 or 16, and it's not a long experience. So I played on like the easy level, and it's like 4 hours to beat, even if you like do some of like quote unquote side questing. You do stuff you don't have to. And I guess like for like in high levels, I guess it's like more like maybe 10 hours if you really put your mind into it. But so it's a super short experience, super condensed.
Is it
Uh,
replayable?
100% replayable because like
Yeah, but is there a reason to like replay it besides
yes,
the fact that you have fun?
as soon as I finished the game relatively fast, and I came. So you unlock another character. I mean, okay, I'm gonna spoil it. If you don't want to know who's the character you unlock at the end of the game, skip like 5 seconds ahead. So basically, at the end of the game, you unlock Casey, and then you can play as Casey, which is nice. So there's two reasons to replay the game. One, play as like more characters. You can switch them mid game, but if you want like, so that's a new mechanism that they have. the more you play with a character, the more, so you have your regular attacks, jump, grab, all that stuff, but you also have like super moves. And the more you progress with a single character, you gain more super moves, more combos you can do. So that's like part of the modern mechanism. So for once, you can do that, and every level is about like 5 to 10 minutes long. So they go fast. So you can do that. And the reason I replayed is I started jumping into other people's games. So one, it's a really nice experience on your own, but they added Steam and Epic Games crossplay. Mm-hmm. So you can say, okay, well, I want to play that level, but with like another person. So you open a menu, and there's like tons of games in there, and it'll say, oh, this person is playing as Splinter on this level, and he's like 2% in the game. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump into their level and just play with them. And the co-op experience is super nice, just as any like beat 'em up game. They added a cool mechanism where if you play with another player and there's a button that you can like high five them, and if you high five them, you transfer a little bit of your health to their health. So that's kind of like it's a really nice touch, and you feel good about it. Nice. And health is like is your main resource. So if you're in a boss fight and you need this thing, so you they really make it feel very dynamic and fun, and also very modern. Throughout the game, that's what I felt. I felt like I'm playing this old school game, but with tons of modern touches. So one of the things you notice right at the beginning is that you get a tutorial that's called How to Play, and it takes like a second. You just browse to like a bunch of like slides. So there's like tons of combos that you can do, and combos weren't a thing at the original game. You just like beat someone up and they explode. But here you can, lift them up to the air and do like Devil May Cry business on them. It's just like you're doing like all these like weird things, and when you do that, you charge your like super move meter, and then there's a whole bunch of like super moves you can do. You can do one on the ground, you can do one in the air, you can do one. There's like a whole bunch of stuff. So all this like complexity, I think, is enabled because you have like a more advanced controller other than like a Super NES controller. So you can like use all those buttons, put all the buttons to good use. So that's a super fun experience. There's a lot of variety in the stages. So you get different enemies, different settings, but also in the original game, there's like levels that are all like, let's say, on a skateboard on a highway. So you get your like there's skateboards with like afterburner behind them. So you play. There's like a lot of variety. So the game never feels really, stale. Like you're not doing the same thing all over again, like a different level. So that's really nice. The music is on point. All the graphics and animations are on point. It's literally the best transition from like a remake or reimagination of an arcade game to something that's more modern that I've ever seen. Like I can't even think about another instance of that. It's a super fun game.
Cool. I will get to that at some point. It's not like my favorite game type to play, but like the brand, the franchise,
yes,
is very dear to me. So I will try and play that.
Yeah, and I mean I think it's like $20 full price. So it's
so how come you paid 80? Explain to me.
Oh yes. So first of all I bought the game on launch. Like there was like a no-brainer that I knew that those were like $20 that are no longer mine. But then my controller like broke a couple of I think like a month or month and a half prior to that. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really need a controller right now. I'm playing like mostly first-person shooters or League, so I don't really need a controller. But for that, I got out of the house, went to Target, got a controller. Okay. I was like, there's like if there's ever a reason to replace my broken controller, that's the one.
Okay, so the money was for a new controller.
Yes, and also yeah. but zero regrets. Wow, that's a super fun experience, and now I also have the controller to play some other stuff.
Oh,
So
it
that's
seems
also-
it seems that I'm looking at the Steam page, and there was also like a mini documentary behind the scenes videos
cool.
for the game, so that's nice.
And also, okay, one last thing. You can play as April, which
Yeah.
you couldn't do in the original game. So that's what it's a really nice touch.
Last
And
week
she's-
we did the 300 episode of the Game Burning podcast, and we talk about this game a bit. And one of the complaints is that in Ninja Turtles in general, since this is a franchise from the late 80s, early 90s, there's not enough woman characters in the game. Like there's basically April, and then
that's it.
later there are the girl from the Neutrinos, and that's
yeah.
basically it. There are 2 women in the entire franchise.
Yep, the entire universe. Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
But yeah, so you can play as April, which is super nice. And then during the game, you meet all these like side characters from the original show. So like the newspaper owner, the station owner, and you actually meet the. I didn't know they were related, but I should have. But do you remember? I don't remember the name, but they're basically like Ninja Turtles, just frogs.
Toads, yes, the Toads. Of course.
Yeah, the Toad. So you actually meet them. I think there's a way to play as them. I'm not sure. You can probably Google that as I talk. But there's like side quests you can do.
You are right. They are frogs. They are called the punk frogs.
Yes. Okay. So I think there's a way you can play as them. I'm not sure, but there's another kind of group of people you meet. Do you remember there were like really small space people driving in this rainbow car? They're like, is it like vaguely familiar?
That's the Neutrinos, no?
I don't know.
Aren't those the Neutrinos? The only people they are from Dimension X or something, and they drive a flying car.
Yes, so I think that's what it is. So they give you like tasks to find stuff during those like episodes, and I think if you find all the things, then you get like more content. I wasn't able to find all the things, and I didn't Google exactly how you do it, but I think there's more content there than the one I went through, so I didn't have 100% the game, but it's still interesting. So anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's more value in that game. I'm gonna get back to it for sure. Even though I'm very tempted to go back to Mercenary Kings now because that's an excellent game as well. and I didn't finish it. So.
Well, if I will buy the game, I will probably buy it on one of the either PlayStation or Switch, because if I play it on a controller, so it's probably better to just play it on a console.
Yeah, and yeah.
I have Mercenary Kings. Why didn't I play this?
So that's a similar vibe. Also, great music and great gameplay. So
it's for 2014. I probably got it in a bundle or something.
Very, very fun game. The only one that I haven't tried, and maybe I'll get it during the sale. They have something with like Mechs universe. I forgot the name.
It's called Steel Assault.
Is it okay? So basically,
I'm just looking at all of their games right now.
So it's like a Metroidvania, just like with you driving a mech.
Yeah, and for some reason, this game is designed in 4x3 aspect.
Oh.
And I don't know why. It's probably a stylistic choice, but there was also another game called Panzer Paladin.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
That's the one you're talking about? Okay, so they have 2 mechs games.
Okay. So Panzer Paladin, it looks very right up my alley. That looks like super fun, and I don't know, this studio. I'm getting good vibes from that studio. I'm gonna subscribe to that studio.
Nice. Okay, so let's do some news. Speaking of remakes and continuations and stuff, Ron Gilbert lately has announced Return to Monkey Island. He released a trailer. And then, in the very essence of the phrase, "This is why we can't have nice things," the internet decide they don't like the art style of the trailer, and they decided to be dicks about it. And then Ron Gilbert, that have a very long-running blog, took the whole thing down because he didn't want to deal with hay-holes on the internet anymore. And he also says that he's not going to share the progress with the game until it comes out, basically.
This is why we cannot have nice things.
Yes, exactly. And I watched the trailer. It's freaking amazing. I don't know what those people are thinking.
I have to admit, I watched it on mute because I just wanted to see the style, and I was like, wow, this is like Monkey Island on point. I'm sure it's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, it's like Monkey Island modernized with very slick illustrated graphics. I love it. And I was never a fan of Monkey Island. The same vein as I didn't play the Ninja Turtles game. Those were not that was not the era of gaming I started at. I actually got into gaming around the year 2000. So anything before that, I wasn't that into. But this looks so good, and well, as we said, this is why we can't have nice things. Those people are douche, and that's
and they ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people there are in the team that works on it, but obviously Ron Gilbert is the front man, and my job is to manage communities specifically around gaming and products and stuff. And I have a decade of experience dealing with AOs on the internet, and I grew a thick skin around it. If it were me, I would just block everything and that's that. But I can totally understand people that are not used to it, that their solution is, okay, I'm not going to deal with it, and that's totally that's a valid reaction. You don't need to deal with crap on the internet that's causing you harm, basically.
I totally agree. Nobody's gonna learn any lesson from that whole interaction, but at least if it helps keep those people at the studio sane, give them the space they need to work on the game, then
think how they must feel right now. They put on the first teaser trailer for the thing. Now for the reminder of working on the game, they have this cloud over their heads that there is a very small loud minority of their audience that's going to shit on whatever they are doing.
Yes.
That's a crappy feeling to work with.
That's gamer culture. It's neo gamer culture.
Yeah.
Because that whole adventure genre, I think, and I could be wrong, but that's how I experienced it. From the Sierra games era, it was very naive. It's you put on a great adventure game, people play it, the trade tips. There was no gamer rage associated with it, but I guess it's now gamer rage comes with any game.
Did you see the Netflix documentary that I forgot the name of? High Stakes, something like that. High Score, something. Did you see that?
No, I don't. I literally, except from a handful of shows, I don't watch things. I just rather play games. But
okay, I think it was called High Score. Basically, it's a documentary of the early days of gaming, with things like Ultima and Wizardry and all sorts of those things. And with many other technology things, I don't know if surprise is the right word for it, but I was happy to see that all of those franchises originally came from. Whoop! For a minute I lost my audio. All of those franchises came from what we will refer now as marginalized groups, women, transgender people, LGBTQ, etc. And the same thing that we know for computer science, for example. It was Alan Turing's birthday or something 2 weeks ago, and the very irony with the internet celebrating Alan Turing with basically erasing the fact that he was prosecuted for being gay and eventually that cost him his life, stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, irony or sad or whatever you say that we have now this macho cultures around gaming where it started with the very people that will be prosecuted now for it.
Yeah.
So stop being dicks on the internet.
Yes, please, just be nice people. Be,
Yes.
use your energy to build other people. Don't,
Yes,
trash
exactly.
talk.
Yeah,
That'll be nice.
rise up, don't punch down.
Yeah, you'll get better games for it.
Okay, quick more updates. Two Blizzard related updates, despite the fact that I will not touch on the Activision Blizzard part today.
Yeah.
It continues to be very funny and very sad at the same time. But Blizzard specific related, there is a fan remake of Warcraft 3 in the StarCraft 2 engine going on. Originally, and I'm saying originally, I'm talking about like 7 years ago, I really enjoyed playing the StarCraft remake inside of StarCraft 2. It was very good. And putting Warcraft 3 in there is totally totally natural, and it's probably will be better than Reforge.
Yes, is that a cease and desist takedown?
No. It's a mod. It's a map, like the same as StarCraft 2 Recall. StarCraft Recall. It's using the tool to do, unless they charge money for it. There is no, like, it's within the StarCraft ecosystem. So I don't think it's a problem.
So yeah, that's another thing that companies like neglected, and maybe Epic Games is getting back to it a little bit with the modding for Fortnite, is that, like the whole like recreation and modding and like diving into the engine is something that we also kind of lost with time.
There were actually like 3 or 4 news items around modding this week, but I didn't bring all of them. So there are a lot of stuff around those things. And the other Blizzard news is that Blizzard bought the studio behind the game called Spellbreak. Spellbreak is a game that had some headlines last year. It's a battle royale wizard duel kind of game. Apparently it wasn't very popular. I liked it. I thought it was very good looking, and the system within it were very nicely done. But it's hard to get into the competitive battle royale scene. Like, who can beat Apex, Call of Duty, and Fortnite? Who?
It's getting very consolidated.
It's the same as when the MOBA boom happened, and everyone started making MOBA, but eventually we will have to have League and Dota, and even Blizzard's own Heroes of the Storm didn't really succeed. By the way, Omer, speaking of heroes, that's unrelated to news, but I recently heard that after the whole Heroes of the Storm crash, when Blizzard decided to stop investing in it, the game's community actually grew and become like more consolidated and happy when Blizzard stopped trying to make it into an esport.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I played Heroes of the Storm like maybe a week ago. I just like fired up to see what's new. It's still the same thing. It's a very. It's. I mean, it's kind of funny. So I played it, and I thought to myself, "Wow, this is really not a MOBA." And I know like that was like.
What do you
Blizzard's
mean?
marketing.
What do you mean it's not a MOBA? Because of the
I mean,
what culture of it?
No, it's not. It's not. It's more. I would say like it's more equivalent to. It's like the Super Smash Brothers of
Oh, okay.
MOBA. It's like, it's like a different spin on the genre, and then I
So
think
so
throughout
it's Pokemon Unite.
something like like I would. It's more Pokemon Unite than League, and coming from League now, I think I'm playing like more League than I played Heroes of the Storm at this point. It's it just yeah. I feel bad for this whole like direction that they like the community pushed them towards of comparing like Heroes of the Storm to League, where they should have. I don't know. They went with this is not a MOBA, this is a hero brawler
Right.
kind of deal at first, and then people pushed back on it and said, no, you're actually a MOBA, and we need to compare you to League. But I don't know. After I played it, I think like a week and a half ago, it's really it's its own thing. Like
Good.
It's very different.
That's good. That it's own thing.
So yeah, so now I know if I ever have an itch for something that is not League but also not a MOBA, and like I'm very bad at Smash Brothers, and it's kind of like that.
I may go back to it when I lift the ban of Blizzard after Microsoft clean house.
Yes, please. Like every time I read news about Blizzard, I was like, oh wow, where's the company I stood in line for?
So anyway,
Yeah.
they bought the Spellbreak studio and they are putting them to work on World of Warcraft expansion. So good for those people. They built a game. They basically did an exit on their company. They put in a product. They were bought. They are now part of Blizzard. I hope their spirit won't crash under the management there until Microsoft step in. Good for them. Anyway. And the last bit of news, we talked last week about the Persona series coming to Xbox and PC, and it's now also coming to Switch, which some of my friends are very excited for. It will be later. Xbox and PC is going to be in October, and Switch is going to be 2023. But it's still happening. That's great. Persona 5 for everyone.
Listen, I know that's the news that you're most excited about. So I got into the news, and I think like so I said to myself, wow, this it's your favorite game. I'm totally gonna play it because I haven't played it. I didn't play any of the Personas ever.
Look, I'm not going to wait for you to play it. I don't think you will ever put the 100 plus hours it takes to play Persona 5.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I won't beat it, but at least I'll get the gist of it and like understand what it is.
You need like 30 hours to just go out of the tutorial area.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll see. So I watched the trailer and I watched the gameplay, and I was like, everything in me said this is a game that I'm not sure it's for me, but you like it so much. I was like, I gotta know what this is like all about. Like I never played any Persona, so I was like,
I only played Persona 5. I didn't play any other game in the series.
So. Yeah, so maybe I don't know. Maybe I need to experience it in order to understand it.
Yes, you need to experience it. That's true. Well,
So-
it's basically a JRPG, but it's a very well done with a good story, amazing attention to details, visuals, and very good design. That's what I can say about Persona 5.
Those are all things that I value. So it should be
Good. Okay, we are done. I'm cutting off the shilling part of the episode because we don't have time. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see my projects. This is all we have on the show today. Thank you for listening. I'm on Twitter at Icel. Omer technically is on Twitter, but he never do anything.
Not really.
There. He's Omer Kaplan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on your preferred listening app. You can find all of that on theburn.live. That's a website. Our opening team was created by Andarko, with vocals by Fitchy Twitch, both on Twitter as well. And that's it for this episode. Thank you very much. And until next time, goodbye.
See ya.